Good morning, Bitcoins. We're joined this morning by Anthem Hayek Blanchard from Anthem Vault, a very exciting company that already sells gold and silver for Bitcoin. A few years ago, they were working on a project called Hayek Gold, which would be physical gold on the Bitcoin blockchain, tokens that you could trade that would represent gold. I even interviewed him at the Bitcoin Investor Conference in Las Vegas on October 30th, 2015. The project has now been renamed Anthem Gold with additional changes that we're going to talk about today. Anthem, how's it going? Welcome to the show. You've got to unmute yourself first, and then we'll be all set.
Thank you very much. That might make things a little bit easier. Thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being here. And just to tell the people basically what's going on, Anthem Vault is a company that holds gold. Your professional job is to keep it safe, send it out if people buy it, and you accept Bitcoin. And now you're expanding into something new. You're going to start a cryptocurrency that represents gold in the vault. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so our company, Anthem Vault Inc., one of our companies, we also own AmagiMetals.com. So Amagi has been known as the most prolific Bitcoin to gold dealer really since Bitcoin has been around. And so we purchased Amagi 2 years ago. And so we developed the first fully gold-backed cryptocurrency in July of 2014 called Independence Coin, which is the same script as Dash or the old dark coin X11. And so we had about $5,000, 100 grams worth of gold mineable for a year. Was really popular. We had people sign up for free in Anthem Vault to download the miner. And we had over 1,000 instances. So just from that popularity. And then we came around a year later and we interviewed with you at Bitcoin Investor in Las Vegas, Hayek Gold. And so that was a counterparty-based token that we had hooked into the Anthem Vault system. We had some really innovative stuff, like we were the first company to save the 12-word password for counterparty securely, but doing it as one string. And so basically what happened is that US Treasury came out and said that we'd have to be a money service business. When we registered as a money service business, our banks had an issue. And so our board of directors on the 19th of December, this past December, decided to spin out Anthem Gold as Anthem Gold Inc. into a separate company. So Anthem Gold Inc. is now completely separate from Anthem Vault, Amagi, all of our brands, Anthem National Reserve, Anthem Vault Professional. So all these brands that we have with Anthem Vault. So it's a standalone. And it's a pure cryptocurrency company now. It's a pure technology company. We're not accepting any fiat currency.
The previous token was on Counterparty, and the new token is going to be on Ethereum?
That's right. The new token is on Ethereum. So we've got an open public wallet right now. We're doing a complete revamp of everything that we've got kind of guts-wise from our programmers. And so we're working right now with the MBSafe team that helped to launch Bitfinex and Tether back in the first early beta iterations. So they work with them kind of early days. So that's something that we've been working on. So it's AGLD is the ticker, and you'll start to see that on some of these exchanges here in the coming weeks. So we got accepted onto Bank to the Future, which is a pretty massive cryptocurrency funding website. So actually we just had an interview this morning with Simon, and we're gunning to get the site on to Bank to the Future in the next week or so. So, but definitely contact me if you'd like, because we can send you some kind of hidden links of what we got up there right now. So,
so when the token is launched, will I be able to trade it on other exchanges like Poloniex or I can't think of BTC, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the idea. So. Exactly, Bittrex, all of any exchange that will accept our token. I mean, it's the beautiful thing is that even with Ethereum up to $40 some odd a token, gas prices are still roughly where they were when it was at $10, about 1 or 2 pennies. And so it only takes about 1 or 2 pennies cost, and it's a max of 17 seconds for confirmation on the Ethereum network. So that's going to be really fast. It's going to be really easy for people to swap in and out of different exchanges and wallets. And ultimately, it's all backed by gold. It's a kilo bar of gold that's backing all of this. Each a gram of gold, so splicing up that kilo bar into individual grams. So there's 1,000 AGLD units essentially backed by that kilo bar of gold, and the insurance is all covered for the first 36 months, and then we're going to be issuing the next AGLD token in month 31, and then we're going to have this redeemability period of 6 months where it's exactly 1-to-1. So you can swap your old AGLD token that's on Ethereum for a new AGLD token, presumably also on Ethereum. But if something happens with Ethereum and we kind of get the politics we're getting now in Bitcoin, or something happens, then we're not set on that blockchain. So we are going to be building our own blockchain as well to avoid these issues altogether. But we always want to be able to use other third-party blockchains at the very least, just for confirmation.
So you're making sure that there is a future for the coin. No matter what happens with Ethereum, you'll still be able to hold your token. So if I wanted to hold gold for like 10 years, I could do it with this token, because you're going to make sure that technology survives, even if you have to change blockchains or something.
Exactly. And even if you forget about the wallet, we're planning to still have that token metal just degrade by, about 0.5% or so, maybe even a little less per year. So that way, it's still there. It's just that when you want to redeem it, let's say you've let, 4 years go by, after that first 3-year period, now it's 7 years, maybe that token is worth, 98% or 97% of the 1 gram of gold now, instead of 100% of 1 gram of gold. But then you can change it to the new token. That token is what's going to be on all the exchanges. So the idea is to make it simple, but yet factor for all of these real factors like seniorage, the insurance, storage cost.
So yeah, the idea there is that you'd have to pay for the upkeep and security of the vault, and so that your token would degrade a little bit, because gold is actually a physical asset. There's a cost to you holding and protecting it. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that's built in as well.
Yeah, insurance and the other cool things that we're going to be doing, and that's something that's kind of top secret right now, but the vault innovation. So we're planning to do a lot of things in the vault itself, in terms of proof of existence, in effect, of the metal, and to be able to have assurance that which bar and what metal is tied to crypto, and kind of to make sure that reconciliation piece really exists on a granular level. So there's a lot that we think that can be done to innovate on the vaulting and warehousing side of the industry, and it's something that we're excited at Anthem Gold to be able to tackle. So, and I think that's going to add a lot of extra value too, relative to a lot of other allocated stored options out there.
And because this is just basically an Ethereum token, I could store it on an exchange, in a paper wallet, in a wallet on my computer. I could send it back and forth, paying small fees. So it's really more flexible than gold has ever been. Right?
Much more. I mean, that's been the problem, is really our mission has been to make gold easy and cool to use again as currency. And it really hasn't been easy in the electronic age at all. I mean, it really hadn't even been that easy in the paper age, really. That's why we had these paper notes. So this is like arguably the first time since just having like a fully asset-backed like paper currency. And we all know that the assurance is there or none, because it's government force, and you have to trust government force, which is, as we saw in 1971 in the United States, when President Nixon took the US off the gold windows, so countries could no longer exchange 35 of their greenback US dollars for a hard piece of 1 ounce gold bullion. So we know governments, they always do the bait and switch and play the shell game. And so, the market ultimately is what's going to be our arbiter, and, they're going to make sure that we're keeping honest, because if not, there's going to be a sell-off on our token, and, we're going to have to defend the token by bailing out bars of gold, which is fine. So we could do that, but that's not where we want to go. We think that we can just continue to innovate and push the ball forward. And I think ultimately we're going to continue to see, even with more competition, an increased premium, kind of like you see a premium if you buy like a 1 gram ingot. You might see a 15 to 25% premium over, let's say, 1,000 gram, 1,000 times bigger bar. So just because of the form factor, so it's smaller, and the cost per strike per that one item is much higher per unit. So
this is probably similar to the way that I think Barry Silbert's Bitcoin ETF was trading above the value of Bitcoin, because it was more useful than Bitcoin, because it's on a stock market. You could use retirement funds, etc. It's more accessible.
Exactly. More accessible is exactly the way to describe it. So that accessibility adds utility ultimately, and the utility adds a premium. And you can keep enhancing that premium as long as you can keep enhancing that utility over whatever the competitors around you are doing.
So we've mainly talked about the idea of maybe holding gold long term, but what about short term as a trader? If I was trading on exchanges into Bitcoin out, into Ethereum out, and I was looking for a stable place to save maybe a couple thousand, in case the markets go haywire, would this be a good idea to save it in Anthem Gold?
I mean, gold trades at 50 billion roughly dollars a day, on average. So, I mean, it's about, conservatively 300 times roughly the volume of Bitcoin. So, and if you look at kind of the correlation between gold and Bitcoin, it hasn't really been that tight, meaning that when Bitcoin goes up, gold doesn't always really go up and vice versa. And actually a lot of times it's been, inversely correlated. So, and we see that in our Amagi Metals side of the business with Anthem Vault Inc., where, we've had an incredible quarter with Amagi because of a lot of the price volatility that we've seen. So people get jumpy, they want to jump into gold and they want to jump into the metals because they know it's a great store of value.
And of course, to do it that way, you have to kind of ship the gold. You have to wait for it to get there. You're worried about the postal service. There's a lot of unknown variables. The price is going up and down. Whereas if you moved into this token, it's just instant. And if you change your mind the next minute, you could move right back out for the fees, right? Basically.
Yes, correct. Exactly. It's super easy, super cheap, super fast. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it literally is a no-brainer. I mean, it's just that the trust factor is so difficult. I mean, I've probably heard close to, 80, 90, 100 some odd different, gold blockchain, something blockchain gold, it's like something.
Well, that's like Joey's got some gold in his closet and he'll trust you and you trust Joey. It's not, we have to have more than that, right?
Oh, that's just exactly. I mean, that's where it starts, right? It starts with the trust, but then it's like all the other conflicts around it. Is it a bank? Well, if it's a bank, then it's going to have credit risk. Okay. Well, if they're doing other things, is it going to jeopardize other parts of their business? Okay. Well, then how are you then going to deal with the seniorage and the storage? How are you going to do all these things? And we think that, and how are you going to keep it simple still? How are you going to make it easy to use? How is it going to be fast? How are all these variables? And so, I mean, I feel so excited and I feel so confident because I know we understand this business like the back of our hand. My family's been in this business. I mean, my dad helped push for the legalization. My mom, I mean, he was a rebel. He literally was civil disobedient, had gold in his hands in a wheelchair from a near fatal car accident at 18. And he's threatening the government to arrest him. And they're, pays for a biplane to fly over Richard Nixon's inauguration, says legalize gold. And he got it done. They pushed it. And he got press conference to the television networks at the time in 1974. And then it began 73, and then it became legal through 74, and then got put into law in January of 75. And that's our legacy. And our family built the largest gold business in the world. They sold it to General Electric Capital, which then turned it around to the new owner. And so we have a legacy. I mean, I've been in the digital gold currency space personally since 2002. My dad was the 6th investor in Gold Money. And Gold Money had a nice exit about a year ago into the Toronto Stock Exchange. I see what we're doing as Anthem Gold very similar, except in the cryptocurrency space. And so, focusing on all the advantages that the decentralization and cryptocurrency offers. And so, we're very committed. My middle name is named after the Nobel economist. My parents named me after Frederick August Hayek that wrote about denationalization of currencies. So I've got the scarlet letter of Hayekism and Hayekian and being the ultimate Austrian warrior here to make sure that we persevere. So I think we can help the Bitcoin community, and I think the cryptocurrency community. I think we're going to put a really nice shot of liquidity into the industry, and I think it'll be good safety, and I think it'll prevent the GOX kind of effects and some of the effects of shocking a lot of the adoption waves and having it take a long time. I mean, it's taken almost 3 years close to get back to prices where we got 2.5 years. So
well, who knows what's going to happen now, if it's going to happen again with the fork and all the excitement. But yeah, it is a really, really exciting and interesting history. And for someone like me who's into the Federal Reserve, and I've read about it a whole bunch. I'm not a libertarian, but I'm a historian and I'm interested in it. It's an amazing thing that they got the gold back in 75, right around there. I know people remember before that they had the great gold where they took the gold from the people during the Depression, and they said, oh, government needs the gold, we'll pay you, but you can't have gold anymore. And it's shocking to people now that don't know the history that even happened. I mean, a lot of strange things were happening then, Japanese internment, all kinds of things. But yeah, to take the people's wealth, literally, 100%, they just took it and then gave them some paper money. And as we all know, that the price of that has just gone down. It's lost 80% of its value since the 20s. To have this alternative, to have this option of holding physical gold is truly an amazing thing that your father brought to the people. And it's notable and worthy. It's amazing.
Yeah, he thought enough of it to sacrifice his life. I mean, ultimately, he should have gotten thrown in prison by the laws, but
Well, and if he's in an injured state, that's even worse, to go to prison when you're not fully strong. It's not a good place
exactly.
for
I know
people that are
exactly. No,
injured,
he
so.
put it all out there. I mean, he defied the government once. He actually defied the government in Louisiana with me because it was illegal for a paraplegic to adopt in Louisiana. They were considered crippled, and so I was born in Illinois and smuggled down, and so we have a rich history of protecting and fighting for natural rights. And ultimately, I mean, gold and silver is defined in the Constitution as the only monies that Congress allows the state to coin. So I mean, that's kind of a back way of saying that gold and silver are defined as money by the U.S. Constitution. So we think that my parents have thought, and I think it's important enough that we have to fight for this right, because that's ultimate freedom. Will be able to have the freedom and choice of currency. And in order to have that, we have to have alternatives that are strong enough where the governments around the world have to concede the point that these private currencies can hold their own and therefore can replace all the fiat currencies and legal tender laws. And I think once we get to that point in history, the faster we get to that point, I think the faster we get to the next Renaissance age. I mean, I think the internet's definitely been the catalyst of it, but I think that we're going to really break free once we can shed ourselves of legal tender and the forced central banking laws.
I think we're getting close to it with the idea of money is speech, and then Bitcoin. You can see how much money everyone has. There was an idea we used to talk about years ago when we were early in Bitcoin about how it would be uncool to hold a bunch of Bitcoin. It would be better to be investing them in your friends and sending them around. And we'd kind of be able to look at all the accounts and say, hey, you're just sitting on this wealth. We'd prefer if you shared it with people and did something, built something. And I know it's a risk. You could lose the wealth, but we're looking for people to take that risk. We're not looking for people to just sit on wealth anymore, because that's kind of a boring idea. I prefer it much more when they invest, when they do something. You look at Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, both of them in a race to go to Mars, and they don't have to. They have plenty of money. They could just sit on it. They've built beautiful companies in Tesla and Amazon, PayPal, etc. But they have that drive to do more. Maybe even for the species, they think that we need as a species to go to Mars. These are exciting ideas. And I think the same way with this gold token, especially for Bitcoin, this is a time of uncertainty. A lot of people have moved back into fiat. A lot of people are holding fiat on an exchange. I know if you're on GDAX or Coinbase, you kind of hold fiat, not really sure. I hope it's going to work out. But this would be great because you could have it on maybe Shapeshift. You could have it on Poloniex, maybe in BTC-E could trade it, who no one knows who they are. But this would be an option where you could sit in gold and you would be safe while the market does its thing. So.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So it just provides, gold provides the backing for the cryptocurrency, and that ultimately makes it safe. And so, that's really where we see this being a massive advantage. And ultimately, we're really excited. We think its time has really come. So it's really it's fun. It's a fun time to be in the space. It's a fun time to be innovating in the space. I think, yeah, as you can see, there is a lot of turmoil right now, and we want to make sure that this idea and concept of cryptocurrency endures. And so in order for it to do that, gold itself, again, is immutable value. It's been proven that way. Someone has always taken gold for something else for 6,000 years, recorded history. I mean, we have that kind of track record of immutability. And so this also ensures that the miners will always have fees that are going to be worth something. So there's never a guarantee that something that is just purely a digital token and nothing else will always hold its value. But at least having gold there, having something physical there, then ensures that.
I also like that you're charging the small fees for the storage. I think that's honest to include it into the cost. To try to not do so would be confusing, because how are you making the money to pay for the storage? So people know everything's above board here. It's upfront. How many gold bars are there? How many tickets you're selling? The connections, these kind of things, you guys are taking care of all that.
So. Exactly. It's none of this kind of bait and switch or like, oh, let's issue a token and it's just redeemed for metal maybe, and maybe it's there, maybe it's not. It's that kind of pooling account stuff. I mean, it gets you in trouble in the centralized world. It's just going to be asking for even more trouble in the decentralized world because of how easy it is for funds to move around, right? I mean, that's the advantage, right? But if the structure is incorrect, then this kind of old school idea of like you can have a fractional metal account and have that kind of somehow hold up, I mean, it's just a no-go. If you're asking for a metal run.
And certainly, yeah, the previous problem with gold tokens is you always said they always printed more tokens than they had gold. And I'll cut right to it. But with this one, it'll be verifiable and it's 100%. Where can people learn more about this? Can you buy it now? Is it available today?
The best place to go, I mean, we have our public open beta. Again, it's just like signing up for the wallet. So if you sign up there, at least you'll be in. We're redoing the branding. We're doing all the user experience, client experience, user interface experience, all of that right now. So it's pretty bland. We're going to be on banktothefuture.com, which is a pretty popular site, as I mentioned before. That's somewhere that you could check us out. We should be listed on there in about the next week or so. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, you can personally. It's Anthem Hayek. I'm at Anthem Hayek is my Twitter handle. So, that's a great place also. So, and go ahead and check out anthemgold.com if you'd like, and you can at least sign up, and you'll start seeing, that site get updated pretty swiftly here. So that at least puts you into the system, information. You'll get updates that way. So you'll be on top of it that way. But just contact me directly if you'd like. So I'm around, and if you want to contact our support, you can reach me that way, 855-428-2858. So, that's another way to reach us. So, basically, we want to be accessible. We want to answer, everybody's questions, and, we're pretty excited about this. So it's a pretty exciting time to be involved, and, we're happy to provide the service. So we think it's perfect timing.
All right, Anthem. Well, thanks so much. And people can learn more at anthemgold.com. It was a pleasure talking to you about this again.
Thanks,
I rarely get to do repeat interviews, but it was great to see you in Vegas, and it's great to see you again. So
my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. And thank you very much to your audience. I appreciate you all watching and listening, and hope you all check us out. Thanks.
All right. Thank you much. And we're out of time. So bye-bye.